Today we will be looking at our Key Stage 4 Level 2 Technical Award in Hair and Beauty. We'll be going back to basics with some hints and tips. The agenda for this presentation will be looking at the assessment structure of a technical qualification, valuable resources available to you, preparation for delivery, the synoptic assignment, the written exam, completing some documentation and useful contacts. Now let's take a look at the assessment structure of a technical qualification. So what makes a Key Stage 4 technical qualification? This slide gives us more understanding of how the qualification will be assessed. Technical awards have two assessment components, and both components must be achieved at a minimum of a pass to achieve the qualification. For the hair and beauty qualification, there will be a synoptic end assignment which makes up 60% of the qualification. This will require the candidates to be able to draw from and apply knowledge, skills and understanding from the breadth of the mandatory qualification content. This is externally set, internally marked and standardised. It's externally moderated by City and Guilds. There is only one 12-week window in each academic year to complete the synoptic assignment, and only one resit is allowed. Also, there will be one end externally assessed theory exam. This makes up 40% of the qualification. The questions will be drawn from the critical knowledge across the mandatory qualification content. Again, this is externally set, externally marked. There will be two dated opportunities in each academic year to sit the theory exam, and only one resit is allowed. Technical qualifications, information and support resources. These resources have been developed to maximise your toolbox to enable a smooth delivery of both the synoptic assignment and the written theory exam. Valuable resources. These are generic resources that are available to you. Follow the link on the slide to access the resources. The Welcome Pack explains all available support and guidance, and this is an easy, swift read. The Welcome Pack, Teaching and Learning and Assessment Guide, the Moderation Guide are essential documents. In the Welcome Pack you will find all key dates for your diary. We have a checklist, and this tells you at a glance dates that are extremely important for the smooth delivery of your technical qualification. The Moderation Portal is an online administration platform used to facilitate the submission of marks and evidence and the moderation of the synoptic assignment, centre assessed components and employer involvement for technical qualifications. You can access this using the link provided on the slide. You can also download a copy of the Moderation Portal Centre User Guide, which explains the process for your centre on how to upload marks and evidence. New centres will be sent a link to our First Steps webinar, Preparation to Deliver Technical Qualifications, once they have completed a qualification approval form. Have you got all your resources? These resources can be found on the 3038 webpage. I have added the link to this slide. Now let's take a deeper dive into the preparation of have you got all your resources. So we have our qualification handbook. It's the nuts and bolts of what you need to deliver your learners to get them fully prepared for their end synoptic practical assignment and their knowledge exam. The synoptic practical assignment and knowledge test, well, our writers can only use what is in the qualification handbook. They write around the depth and breadth of the knowledge you have delivered to your learners. The synoptic assignment is password protected. You can get this password from the walled garden. You need to read and fully familiarise yourself with the synoptic assignment. Then you will know exactly what is expected from your learners. Qualifications reports are on the website. They are not password protected, and it tells you how learners have performed last year for the synoptic assignment and knowledge exam. Please make sure you have a look at these. It's another tool for you to use so you can improve and make sure learners have the best opportunity to get the best grades. Our Principal Moderators report gives us an insight of how learners did in the synoptic practical assignment last year. It gives us a national picture and helps you to understand what a pass mark was and how many learners got a pass, merit, distinction or distinction star. The Chief Examiner's Report, which is an insight into how learners did in the spring and summer exam series. Past papers and marking grids prepare learners for the end knowledge exam. Sample synoptic assignments you're probably using now as mock assessments with your learners. If not, I would suggest you do this as it will help your learners to showcase their skills on the day of the synoptic. And our exam guides, which we will have a look through later. Preparation for delivery of technical qualifications. We've put a few examples of good practice spotted by moderators at some centres. So number 1, plan a meeting staff training day to review this year's synoptic. Read all the assessment content and email us with any questions prior to the October cut-off date using the technical synoptic feedback form. Number 2, share last year's moderator's feedback with the whole delivery team. Number 3, decide who will carry out the IQA. Number 4, review any templates you have used in the past and make sure they are blank documents. Number 5, plan when the synoptic will be delivered and when the IQA standardisation activity will take place after the marking has occurred. All these 5 points can take place in the initial planning or staff standardisation meeting. Now let's take a look at the synoptic assignment and the written theory exam. The award in Hair and Beauty Studies has 3 mandatory units and no optional units. The assessment for this qualification will be a knowledge exam, dated paper online or paper-based, synoptic assignment released at the start of the academic year to help support tutors' preparation but is not released to the learners until a specific date. Please refer to the synoptic assignment for further details. Within this qualification, we'd like to see photos and mood boards. Tutors should encourage learners to take photographs and create mood boards of their work to enhance and showcase their skills. The additional information. This technical award is intended to be offered to 14 to 16-year-olds alongside GCSEs and can be delivered over 1, 2 or 3 or a 3-year programme of study. We would recommend that the assessment is not taken until the 2nd year to allow time for learners to develop skills and knowledge required for the external exam and the synoptic assignment. Please see the links to the documents on this slide. The Qualification Handbook and the Exam Guide. These 2 documents are essential as the Qualification Handbook is your teaching syllabus and the Exam Guide will support you in getting your learners ready for their exam. Each unit in the handbook has a learning outcome and topic. Use the handbook alongside the exam guide as you will be able to see the learning outcomes, the topics that will be in the end exam. I would put a revision note in the handbook next to the topic. This would make up my revision list for all learners. This slide is taken from the Qualification Handbook. It gives you the qualification structure for this award. This award has 3 mandatory units. 201, Exploring the World of Hair and Beauty, 202, Science of Hair and Beauty, and 203, the Design in the Hair and Beauty sector. The assessment for this technical qualification includes a knowledge exam, it's dated, online or paper-based, and a synoptic assignment. This is released at the start of the academic year to help support tutors' preparation, but is not released to the learners until a specific date. Now let's take a look at the assignment brief. The brief is to carry out research on a given era, and this year's era is ancient Japan. Whilst researching, learners should keep a list of references and sources where they have found their information. Task 1. Can you please reinforce to your learners that when completing this task, it is without access to the internet, they use notes from their own research, course notes and textbooks. The task must be written in their own words and sources must be referenced. The comparisons are between ancient Japan information they have found and the looks of today. They need to research the key products, tools and equipment used in ancient Japanese times and how services and treatments in the hair and beauty sector have changed from ancient Japan to what they are now. Task 2. Learners will create hair, makeup and nail looks based on their own interpretation and creativity based on the ancient Japanese theme. Learners do not need to create historical looks, so they can have a modern look twist with the ancient Japanese theme. I'm going to give you some examples of what they could do to recreate these themes. So for hairstyles. Hairstyles will almost probably have an element of hair up and a Japanese themed ornament will be used. Makeup could be white pale foundations, red lips with a pout in shape, rosy cheeks, the use of black, red or pink eyes. Nails, natural pale effect, or they may choose to use a Japanese themed nail art. The practical is about putting their research of the era and demonstrating their creativity and showcasing reasons for their choices. Task 3. The learners must plan, produce and evaluate a social media post. The type of marketing material can change in each series. The learners can use any format to create the post. However, the final result will need to be converted to a PDF file to ensure the external moderators can see the result without any distortion that occurs when some files are uploaded to the portal. Ensure that the file name used for the learner's evidence is clear and the learner's name and registration number is on the file. And please use the synoptic recording forms to record the learner's performance on the day. Assessment objectives. The assessments for this qualification are set against a set of assessment objectives, which are used across all City and Guilds technicals to promote consistency among qualifications of a similar purpose. They are designed to allow judgment of the candidate to be made across a number of different categories of performance. Each assessment for the qualification has been allocated a set number of marks against them, based on the weighting recommended by stakeholders of the qualification. This mark allocation remains the same for all versions of assessments. This table explains the AOs in detail for the synoptic assignment. Tutors should explain to the candidates that the assessment objective describes a basis of the marking of the synoptic assignment, and each assessment objective help them to understand what a good looks like. It's important to note that the mark bands do not align to grades. There is an explanation of the assessment objectives in the marking guide and also the handbook. Marking band descriptors. I have added an example of AO3. This is the practical assessment objective. As we can see from this slide, number 1, the assigned weighting for the qualification. Number 2, the assessment objective. Number 3, questions to use as prompts to focus on marking. Number 4, the minimum and maximum marks that are available to allocate in the band. Number 5, a generic description of performance quality for the band. And number 6, the qualification specific guidance as to what the quality of performance might look like for this qualification. Recording documentation. The required documentation remains the same. We have not amended our requirements. Please only provide photographic evidence we request in the synoptic assignment pack. Your students won't get any extra marks for submitting more photos. The practical observation form must be completed whilst the synoptic is being observed. It is solely an account of this process taking place. The candidate record form is where you justify the marks you are awarding. So this is an account of the whole synoptic and needs to be agreed by all parties whom may have been involved in the marking. So 3038, Level 2, Technical Award in Hair and Beauty, the written exam. We have 2 new webinars planned for February. So these are going to be delivered by City and Guilds technical staff. Check out the generic support sessions below. We have our preparing for the theory exam and also preparing for the synoptic assignment. Exam specifications. Please use the exam guide to see the content assessed by the exam. And as we can see here, all 3 units will be in the exam. The table here provides an overview of how the qualifications learning outcomes are covered by the exam and the number of marks available per learning outcome, not the number of questions per learning outcome. In preparing candidates for the exam, we recommend that centres take note of the number of marks allocated to the learning outcome and to assign teaching and preparation time accordingly. In preparing candidates for the exam, centres should refer to the Qualification Handbook, which gives a full detail of each learning outcome. The following is a summary of only that qualification content which is assessed by the exam, and not a summary of the full content of the qualification. Past papers to help get your learners ready for their written exam. It's advisable to carry out mock assessments using the 2 past papers to help learners prepare. So we have sample assessments are available on our website, past papers a minimum of 2 only, and our moderator's report. Technical qualifications, exam timetable and submission deadlines for moderated assessments. So as we can see from this qualification, we have our title of the qualification, the level, the technical award type, and the achievement rate to date is 79%. So the first spring series exams start in February and the second series in March. Summer results are available to centres based on the level. For level 2, the results will be released on the 25th of August. Technical qualification further support. Here are some generic contacts. We have our technical email address and telephone number, and we also have our customer support team with their email and telephone number. And 2 other useful contacts and links are here. So you have my email address there, so if you have any technical issues regarding the qualification, please contact me, or for further support, please contact me if you'd like a face-to-face or a Teams meeting. I've put our industry manager's email address on there too. We have a link here for the COVID-19 updates. And to keep you updated, please register for our latest alerts by hitting the link here to update your details. Thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed this presentation.